Hey guys, Stephanie with AmericanMuscle.com here with the SR Performance Adjustable Sway Bar Kit for 2005 to 2010 GT and V6 Mustangs. The SR Performance Adjustable Sway Bar Kit is going to be a good option for someone that's looking to gain some handling performance at a fraction of the price of other brands. Sway bars in general tend to be one of the most cost-effective handling upgrades. They provide a lot of benefits such as less body roll for better all-around handling, and they aren't as expensive as other suspension mods. The easiest way for me to explain how a sway bar works is to imagine a car that's taking a corner. As the car is cornering, the weight of the car is pushed outwards towards the outer tires. This weight compresses the suspension on the outside of the car and decompresses the suspension on the inside. The sway bar counteracts this compression and decompression. The weight transfer creates a twisting force in the sway bar, so the sway bar creates a flatter handling experience. There are a few things that affect how much force a sway bar has or how effective it's going to be. The thickness of the bar and its composition are going to play a big role, and these bars from SR Performance are tubular, which is nice because you get the strength like you would with a solid bar but without the weight. This is aircraft grade steel, and the front bar is 35mm and the rear bar is 22mm, which are big upgrades over the factory bars. These are also powder coated black, so they are going to have corrosion resistance as well. Another factor that's going to affect how well a sway bar works is the geometry of the bar. The sway bar has bends and different angles, but the key is going to be the length of the lever arm. This is the lever arm right here, and this bar is three-way adjustable. You can see the adjustment points right here, and having this bar be three-way adjustable means that you have a longer lever arm. Depending on how you adjust the bar and install, you're changing the geometry of the bar. The shorter the lever arm is, the greater torque and more force that the bar will have. This is what you're adjusting when you're moving between these holes here. The amount of force and torque that will be applied to that outside control arm in order to decompress the outside suspension. The end link bushings are also going to affect the sway bar. These bars only come with rear end links, but the front is important as well. The more rigid the bushings and the end links are, the more rigid the bars will be because they will not be allowed to move as much. The softer the bushings are, the more movement the bar will have and the less effective it will be. So if you're just going to reuse your factory end links, you can expect the soft rubber factory bushings to allow more movement in the front bar. I'd recommend picking up an aftermarket set with poly bushings if you have a street car. You have to keep in mind that your factory bushings could be older at this point, and you don't want to lose any of the effectiveness of the bars. The last thing I wanted to talk about when it comes to sway bar effectiveness is that suspension travel is going to affect the sway bar. When I say suspension travel, I'm mostly referring to the spring rates. The sway bars and the springs are going to work very closely together like all suspension parts do. Spring rates are going to change the amount of compression or decompression that occurs within the suspension, so of course these two components are going to work hand in hand. So just remember that when you're shopping for springs or if you already have springs. The basic rule of thumb is that sway bar thickness should increase as static spring rates increase and vice versa. When it comes to fitment, these sway bars are going to work on all 2005 to 2010 Mustangs, including coupes and convertibles, the GT, the V6, and the Bullitt model as well. The only model they won't work on is the GT 500. As far as price, you're looking at spending a little under $400 for this kit, which is the most affordable option that you can pick up. Now, there are other options on the site that have different materials or different adjustability or different thickness, so just make sure you're shopping in the range of materials, thickness, and adjustability that you need for your setup and how you want your car to perform. The install for these sway bars is not difficult at all, and you're looking at spending about 2 hours to get it done and a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. You need a handful of different tools, but nothing crazy, and as usual, a lift would really help here, but the job can be done on stands if you don't have access to one. The old sway bars are going to need to be removed, but that's just a few bolts. Now, I'd recommend greasing any new bushings well prior to the install, since waiting until after everything's installed will make that process much more difficult. The new bars install the same way the old bars came out, so no surprises there. Wrapping things up here, the SR Performance Sway Bar Kit includes a front adjustable bar and a rear fixed bar that are tubular in design and thicker in diameter than the factory bars for more rigidity. This kit's made to help with cornering handling by keeping the suspension flat and even. You can check it out more online right here at AmericanMuscle.com.